Hi everyone, hope you're keeping safe and well. I'm sorry I've not done a, what's this, video on eating disorder support, like this, like as intensely as this, since the fertility one. Obviously, it's been quite overwhelming. I needed a little bit of processing time, because obviously the conversation around the video that I did got bigger, and good because more people are feeding back to me that they're feeling supported on their own eating disorder journeys, and also even those not affected by eating disorders, just women, and men who have gone through, fertility difficulties and miscarriage and all the other things that we tend to not talk about. So I just needed a little bit of downtime before I'm back. But I'm back. But also, actually, in all honesty, I've been quite let down. Felt let down recently by other people's actions, and it's happened a few times over the last year actually, where there's sort of you get roped into the belief that somebody wants to do something and then it doesn't happen, and it makes you feel a bit sad and pants, and deflated. Then I remembered something I did a talk about actually once, that I was in TEDx, but I also talk about it in my school's talks as well, about how you only give people the power to hurt you if you let them. And I've always had a bit of an issue with that saying, because people do have the power to hurt us. Like, we can't just go, well, no, that don't hurt us. It's not about that. But what we do have the power to do is have control over how we react, if that makes sense. So I'm just sharing that bit because it does segue onto something else. So yeah, one, if you have been let down and you feel sad, that's okay. Sometimes just things don't work out, right? But what you can do is decide how you react. And so how I'm reacting now is picking myself up, brushing myself off and starting all over again. But it reminded me of when I felt let down over and over and over by myself. All those times when I was going through an eating disorder where I'd get up and I'd be like, do you know what, I've had enough, today's the day, like it's never going to happen again, and I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to eat that, and I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that, and then like get to the end of the day going and I'm not being flippant about it, but you know what I mean, don't you? Because recovery is hard. And back then, I'd really beat myself up. Like, really beat myself up. And there was a turning point for me when I started to get my head around the small scale wins. And I spoke about that to Marnie in the recent MTV podcast we did for her Home Truths. And all of these things that I've been feeling like this last week or so, it reminded me of how it made me think about how did I get out of my letdowns and failings, which they weren't, because it wasn't my fault, it was the eating disorder. But how did I get over those before? And I'm laughing because it made me giggle. Because I heard a song the other day and it reminded me what I used to do. So I've talked before about the evidence pot, about what does an eating disorder give you and what does it take away. And actually, when you list down the things of what it gives you, and when you list the things of what it takes away, whoo! Life, friendships, relationships, happiness, contentment, thriving, work, school, mates, everything. That's the evidence pot. But sometimes when you're in it, it's really not that easy to just go, yes, I have my rational head on. I completely understand. Because eating disorders go in, no, you don't. I'm here. I'm here. And I'm making light of it. But actually, it's horrific. It's horrific. Let's just say it as it is. And please, anybody who's going through an eating disorder at the moment and are getting help and support through Seed, you know how Mum and I and Dad help and support. We don't make light of things, like we are serious to the point through and through, but you know that humour's our thing. And anybody who doesn't know about Seed, we are here to treat the person, not the eating disorder, and that's why we believe that giving light relief and speaking to people as I'm speaking to you now, as normal human beings, is really, really important. But the song, it's Janet Jackson, right? And I vividly remember sort of getting to a point, I think I was in the unit in Sheffield, or I'd just left, and I'd begged and pleaded with Mum and Dad to take me home because I just couldn't anymore. Like, the severity of it is that place was doing me more harm than good. And I wouldn't be here today if my dad hadn't have taken me out of that unit. But anyway, that's maybe one for another day. But I remember being back from that place and being at home and trying to sort of like get my life together, and I was going to therapy like 2 or 3 times a week, doctors 2 or 3 times a week to check my blood levels and my electrolytes and my weight and everything. And whenever I felt like I was going down and I couldn't see the wood for the trees, I would literally start singing, "What have you done for me lately? Ooh, jack shit. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, jack shit." And I'd sing that to the eating disorder. And the eating disorder didn't like it because, look at me. It made me just giggle and laugh. So yeah, I don't know if that's of any use whatsoever, but when you have those moments where you just can't, and you're sad, and you're crying, and you're desperate, and you feel lost and alone, think of me, urging you to sing, "What have you done for me lately? Ooh, jack shit. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, jack shit." To the eating disorder. And see how you feel. Okay, that was 8 minutes of complete and utter madness. But I wanted to do a video to show you that we're all in it together. And actually, it'll be okay at the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And to not feel ashamed about normalising the conversation around eating disorders. You are welcome. Sending lots of love.